Scripture portions of the day. Day 11.
Matthew 10, OENT. And he called his 12 disciples, and he gave them authority over foul spirits to cast them out, and to heal every ailment and disease. But the names of the 12 apostles were these: the first of them, Simeon, who was called Kepha, and Andreas, his brother, Jacob bar Zebedee, and Johanan his brother, and Philippus bar Ptolemy, and Toma, and Mattei the tax collector, and Jacob bar Halphi, and Lebiah, who was called Thadai, and Simeon the zealot, and Judas Iscariota, he who betrayed him. And these 12 Yeshua sent, and he commanded them, and he said, You shall not go out by the road of the heathen, and you shall not enter to a city of the Samaritans, but go especially to the sheep that have been lost to the house of Israel. And you are going, preach, and say, The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal the sick, purify the lepers, cast out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. And you shall not retain gold, neither silver, nor copper in your money bags, neither wallet for the way, nor 2 coats, neither shoes, nor staff, nor a laborer is worthy of his provisions. Whichever city or village you enter, ask who is worthy in it, and stay there until you leave. And when you enter a household, invoke the peace of the household. And if that household is worthy, your blessing of peace will come upon it. But if not, your blessings of peace will return unto you. But whoever does not receive you, neither listens to your words, when you depart from the house or from that village, shake the sand from your feet. And truly I say to you, it will be tranquil in the day of judgment for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah compared to that city. Behold, I am sending you as lambs among wolves. Be therefore crafty as snakes and innocent as doves. But beware of the children of men, for they will deliver you to the courts, and they will scourge you in their synagogues, and they will bring you before governors and kings because of me, for their testimony and that of the Gentiles. But when they arrest you, do not be anxious how or what you will speak, for it will be given to you in that hour what you should say. For it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of your Father speaking in you. But brother will deliver his brother to death, and father his son, and children will rise against their parents, and will put them to death. And you will be hated by everyone because of my name. But whoever will endure until the end, he will be saved. But when they persecute you in the city, flee to another. For truly I say to you, you will not have finished all the cities of the house of Israel until the Son of Man come. No disciple is greater than his master, neither servant his Lord. For it is enough for a disciple to be like his master, and for a servant to be like his Lord. If they have called the Lord of the house Beelzebub, how much more the children of the household? Therefore, you shall not be afraid of them, for there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known. Whatever I tell you in darkness, say into the light, and whatever you hear with your ears, preach on the rooftops. You shall not be afraid of those who kill the body, that are not able to kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of him who can destroy the soul and the body in Gehenna. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, and not one of them falls to the ground apart from your Father? But your hairs of your head are all numbered. You shall not be afraid, therefore you are better than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who will confess me before the children of men, I will confess him also before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever will deny me before the children of men, I shall deny him also before my Father who is in heaven. Think not that I have come to bring peace on the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. I have come to divide a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be members of his household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And everyone who does not take his cross and come after me is not worthy of me. Whoever will find his life will lose it, and whoever will lose his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. Whoever receives a prophet in the name of a prophet receives the reward of a prophet. And whoever receives the righteous one in the name of the righteous one receives the reward of the righteous one. And everyone who gives one of these little ones a cup of cold water only to drink in the name of the disciples, amen, I say to you, he will not lose his reward.
Genesis 9. 1 And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, Increase and multiply, and fill the earth, and have dominion over it. 2 And the dread and the fear of you shall be upon all the wild beasts of the earth, on all the birds of the sky, and on all things moving upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea, I have placed them under you power. 3 And every reptile which is living shall be to you for meat, I have given all things to you as the green herbs. 4 But flesh with blood of life ye shall not eat. 5 For your blood of your lives will I require at the hand of all wild beasts, and I will require the life of man at the hand of his brother man. 6 He that sheds man's blood, instead of that blood shall his own be shed, for in the image of Elohim I made man. 7 But do ye increase and multiply, and fill the earth, and have dominion over it. 8 And Elohim spoke to Noah, and to his sons with him, saying, 9 And behold I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you. 10 And with every living creature with you, of birds and of beasts, and with all the wild beasts of the earth, as many as are with you, of all that come out of the ark. 11 And I will establish my covenant with you, and all flesh shall not any more die by the water of the flood, and there shall no more be a flood of water to destroy all the earth. 12 And the Jehovah Elohim said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant which I set between me and you, and between every living creature which is with you for perpetual generations. 13 I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign of covenant between me and the earth. 14 And it shall be when I gather clouds upon the earth, that my bow shall be seen in the cloud. 15 And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you, and between every living soul and all flesh, and there shall no longer be water for a deluge, so as to blot out all flesh. 16 And my bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look to remember the everlasting covenant between me and the earth, and between every living soul and all flesh, which is upon the earth. 17 And Elohim said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant, which I have made between me and all flesh, which is upon the earth. 18 Now the sons of Noah which came out of the ark, were Sem, Cham, Japheth. And Cham was father of Shinan. 19 These three are the sons of Noah, of these were men scattered over all the earth. 20 And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. 21 And he drank of the wine, and was drunk, and was naked in his house. 22 And Cham the father of Shinan saw the nakedness of his father, and he went out and told his 2 brothers without. 23 And Sem and Japheth having taken a garment, put it on both their backs, and went backwards, and covered the nakedness of their father, and their face was backward, and they saw not the nakedness of their father. 24 And Noah recovered from the wine, and knew all that his younger son had done to him. 25 And he said, Cursed be the servant Shinan, a slave shall he be to his brethren. 26 And he said, Blessed be the Jehovah Elohim of Sem, and Shinan shall be his bondservant. May 27th Elohim make room for Japheth, and let him dwell in the habitations of Sem, and let Shinan be his servant. Joshua 15. 15:1 And the borders of the tribe of Judah according to their families were from the borders of Idumea from the wilderness of Sin, as far as Cades southward. 2 And their borders were from the south as far as a part of the Salt Sea from the high country that extends southward. 3 And they proceed before the ascent of Akraban, and go out round Seneh, and go up from the south to Cades Barn, and go out to Asaron, and proceed up to Sarata, and go out by the way that is west of Cades. 4 And they go out to Salmona, and issue at the valley of Egypt, and the termination of its boundaries shall be at the sea, these are their boundaries southward. 5 And their boundaries eastward are all the Salt Sea as far as Jordan, and their borders from the north, and from the border of the sea, and from part of Jordan. 6 The borders go up to Bethaglam, and they go along from the north to Beth-arabah, and the borders go on up to the stone of Bean the son of Reuben. 7 And the borders continue on to the fourth part of the valley of Acre, and go down to Galgal, which is before the approach of Adam-min, which is southward in the valley, and terminate at the water of the fountain of the sun, and their going forth shall be the fountain of Rogel. 8 And the borders go up to the valley of Enom, behind Jebus southward, this is Jerusalem, and the borders terminate at the top of the mountain, which is before the valley of Enom toward the sea, which is by the side of the land of Rephaim northward. 9 And the border going forth from the top of the mountain terminates at the fountain of the water of Naphtho, and terminates at Mount Ephron, and the border will lead to Baal. This is the city of Jerim. 10 And the border will go round from Baal to the sea, and will go on to the Mount of Asser behind the city of Jerin northwards. This is Chazlon, and it will come down to the city of Sun, and will go on to the south. 11 And the border terminates behind Acharon northward, and the borders will terminate at Sakath, and the borders will go on to the south, and will terminate at Lebna, and the issue of the borders will be at the sea, and their borders shall be toward the sea, the great sea shall be the boundary. 12 These are the borders of the children of Judah round about according to their families. 13 And to Chalab the son of Jephone, he gave a portion in the midst of the children of Judah by the command of Elohim, and Joshua gave him the city of Arbach the metropolis of Anak. This is Shebron. 14 And Chalab the son of Jephone destroyed thence the 3 sons of Anak, Suzi and Thalamai and Akima. 15 And Chalab went up thence to the inhabitants of Debir, and the name of Debir before was the city of letters. 16 And Chalab said, Whosoever shall take and destroy the city of letters, and master it, to him will I give my daughter Aska to wife. 17 And Gothaniel the son of Chenez the brother of Chalab took it, and he gave him Aska his daughter to wife. 18 And it came to pass as she went out that she counseled him, saying, I will ask of my father a field, and she cried from off her ass, and Chalab said to her, What is it? 19 And she said to him, Give me a blessing, for thou hast set me in the land of Negeb. Give me batanes, and he gave her Gonathlah the upper, and Gonathlah the lower. 20 This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Judah. 21 And their cities were cities belonging to the tribe of the children of Judah on the borders of Edom by the wilderness, and Bezaleel and Era, and Azar. 22 And Ichem, and Regma, and Arul. 23 And Cades, and Asorianaim, and Mainam. 24 And Balmenan, and their villages. 25 And the cities of Asaron, this is Azar. 26 And Sen, and Salma, and Malada, 27 And Seri, and Bephalath, 28 And Kolasiela, and Beersheba, and their villages, and their hamlets, 29 Bala, and Bakak, and Assam. 30 And Elbodad, and Bethel, and Herma, 31 And Sekhalak, and Macharim, and Sephanak. 32 And Labos, and Sael, and Aramoth, 29 cities, and their villages. 33 In the plain country Astale, and Ra, and Asa. 34 And Raman, and Tano, and Ilithoth, and Maani. 35 And Jermuth, and Odalam, and Membra, and Sacho, and Jezekah. 36 And Sacharim, and Gadara, and its villages, 14 cities, and their villages. 37 Senna, and Adasan, and Magadalgad. 38 And Dalad, and Maspha, and Jachareel. 39 And Bastoth, and Ideadalia. 40 And Chabra, and Mox, and Machos. 41 And Gedair, and Bagadiel, and Noman, and Mashedon, 16 cities, and their villages. 42 Lebna, and Ithak, and Anak. 43 And Janna, and Nazib. 44 And Kalam, and Akizi, and Kazib, and Bethsar, and Elam, 10 cities, and their villages. 45 Acharon and her villages, and their hamlets. 46 From Acharon, Jemna, and all the cities that are near Asadoth, and their villages. 47 Asedoth, and her villages, and her hamlets, Gaza, and its villages, and its hamlets as far as the river of Egypt, and the great sea is the boundary. 48 And in the hill country Samir, and Jether, and Sosha. 49 And Rena and the city of letters, this is Debir. 50 And Anan, and Es, and Man, and Esam. 51 And Gazam, and Chalo, and Channa, and Jelam, 11 cities, and their villages. 52 Aram, and Remna, and Soma. 53 And Jemain, and Bethachu, and Phakua. 54 And Yuma, and the city Arbach, this is Shebron, and Sorath, 9 cities, and their villages. 55 Maor, and Shermel, and Ozib, and Itan. 56 And Jeriel, and Arikam, and Zachanaim. 57 And Gabah, and Thamnatha, 9 cities, and their villages. 58 Eloah, and Bethsur, and Geddon. 59 in Magaroth and Bethanim and the Cum, 6 cities and their villages, Pheko and Ephrathah. This is Bethlehem and Phajur and Etan and Kulon and Tatum and Thobes and Karam and Galem and the Thur and Manocho, 11 cities and their villages. 60 Kiriathbaal. This is the city of Jerim and Setheba, 2 cities and their villages. 61 in Badargais and Tharabam and Anon. 62 in Eokioza and Naphlazon and the cities of Sadon and Enkades, 7 cities and their villages. 63 And the Jebusite dwelt in Jerusalem, and the children of Judah could not destroy them, and the Jebusites dwelt in Jerusalem to this day. Joshua 16. 1 And the borders of the children of Joseph were from Jordan by Jericho eastward, and they will go up from Jericho to the hill country, to the wilderness, to Bethel-Luzah. 2 And they will go out to Bethel, and will proceed to the borders of Akadarothi. 3 And they will go across to the sea to the borders of Abtalim, as far as the borders of Betharon the lower, and the going forth of them shall be to the sea. 4 And the sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh, took their inheritance. 5 And the borders of the children of Ephraim were according to their families, and the borders of their inheritance were eastward to Ataroth, and Iraq as far as Betharon the upper, and Gazara. 6 And the borders will proceed to the sea to Ikasman north of Therma. They will go round eastward to the Nassa, and Sels, and will pass on eastward to Janoka. 7 And to Macho and Ataroth, and these are their villages, and they will come to Jericho, and will issue at Jordan. 8 And the borders will proceed from Tapho to the sea to Kelkana, and their termination will be at the sea. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Ephraim according to their families. 9 And the cities separated to the sons of Ephraim were in the midst of the inheritance of the sons of Manasseh, all the cities and their villages. 10 And Ephraim did not destroy the Shannonite who dwelt in Gezer, and the Shannonite dwelt in Ephraim until this day, until Pharaoh the king of Egypt went up and took it, and burnt it with fire, and the Shannonites, and Pharizzites, and the dwellers in Gaza they destroyed, and Pharaoh gave them for a dowry to his daughter. Psalms 10. 1 Why standest thou afar off, O Jehovah? Why dost thou overlook us in times of need, in affliction? 2 While the ungodly one acts proudly, the poor is hotly pursued, the wicked are taken in the crafty counsels which they imagine. 3 Because the sinner praises himself for the desires of his heart, and the unjust one blesses himself. For the sinner has provoked Jehovah, according to the abundance of his pride he will not seek after him, Elohim is not before him. 5 His ways are profane at all times, thy judgments are removed from before him, he will gain the mastery over all his enemies. 6 For he has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, continuing without evil from generation to generation. 7 Whose mouth is full of cursing, and bitterness, and fraud, under his tongue are trouble and pain. 8 He lies in wait with rich men in secret places, in order to slay the innocent, his eyes are set against the poor. 9 He lies in wait in secret as a lion in his den, he lies in wait to ravish the poor when he draws him after him, he will bring him down in his snare. 10 He will bow down and fall when he has mastered the poor. 11 For he has said in his heart, Elohim has forgotten, he has turned away his face so as never to look. 12 Arise, O Jehovah Elohim, let thy hand be lifted up, forget not the poor. 13 Wherefore has the wicked provoked Elohim? For he has said in his heart, he will not require it. 14 Thou sayest it, for thou dost observe trouble and wrath, to deliver them into thy hands. The poor has been left to thee, thou wast a helper to the orphan. 15 Break thou the arm of the sinner and wicked man, his sin shall be sought for, and shall not be found. 16 Jehovah shall reign forever, even forever and ever, ye Gentiles shall perish out his land. 17 Jehovah has heard the desire of the poor, thine ear has inclined to the preparation of their heart. 18 To plead for the orphan and afflicted, that man may no more boast upon the earth.